All right, in this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about something new I'm working on. So if you have a copy of the popMATICS Pocket Guide, whether you have a digital one or a physical copy here, in the back of the guide, I have these 7 essential charts and diagrams that I use. And they're kind of what I consider to be like the condensed master charts. And a few of them in here, for example, like the basic chord scales here, where we have all of the basic chord scales and the colored cells to represent the black and white keys on the piano to show the scale shapes and also the functions of the chords. I have one for the primary chord scale as well with the alternate roots, and another one with the number system essentials that is not key specific. It's just the numbers and a built-in rhythm pattern. But again, this is kind of the end game. This is like once students really know the popMATICS system, this numbered based system, this is kind of what they carry around with them. And then there's 42 pages of manuscript paper and whiteboarding for them to be able to chart out their tunes. But to kind of unpack that stuff, I've been building these popMATICS foundation packets. And so these are going to be key specific. So there's going to be one for each key. So this first one is now complete in C major, and I'm going to be starting to do the other ones too. So I'll just talk a little bit about what's in here. So it starts off with a little bit of a little write-up from me about what this is. And then I started with standard notation. Now, this isn't what I do with my students, but for a lot of people who are coming into this, having a little bit of a background, this is going to be what you're familiar with. So this will be hopefully a comfortable introduction into what it is that I'm doing. So just breaking it down, these are the basics: major scale, chord scale with the number system underneath, and then separating the primary chords from the secondary chords. So our 1, 4, 5 for the major, 2, 3, 6 for the minor. When we get onto the next page, this is the number system essentials. These are the 5 sequence progressions that I have students play to really kind of get familiar with the 9 most common chords that are going to show up in popular music. So the first one, just starting by getting the 1, 4, 5 really ingrained in there, and then for the next one, we're going to be doing this 1, 3, 4, 6, 5, 7, 1. And what we're doing is just placing them over the 1 chord. 1 over 3, the 4 chord over the 6, the 5 chord over the 7, and back to 1. And so you got all the chord names on top, and you got the numbers underneath. So remember, as we move into different keys, those numbers are going to remain the same, but the letters are going to change. So again, structurally, it's you only have to learn this once, and then everything will transfer over. Then you have your primary chord scale. You got the groupings, the 1, 3, 6, 2, 4, 5, 7. I've talked about these before. That's the phone number rhythm. That's grouping the first 3 with the 1 chord, and then the next 2 with the 4 chord, and then the 5 chord, and then back. And then the alternate roots brings in, the primary chord scale kind of takes care of 7 chords. Alternate roots is giving you 2 more in there. So here you're grouping the majors, and then you're putting the minor 7s together. Here's an alternate root, and then the 4 over 5. And then you're back to 1. So there, again, the 5 over 3, that's an alternate root. It's a 3 minor 7. More often than not, you're going to get the 1 over 3. And same thing with the 5 chord. Most likely, you're just going to get a clean 5. It's not usually going to be a dominant, but if you are, you're going to get usually the pop dominant 7, which is a 4 over 5. That's a G7 sus4 in this key. But I keep the slash names in there just because it's just the way that I like to do it. So going from there, we have these major variants. These are the mods and extensions, things that you can do to the primary chords, the 1, 4, 5. So you can do your susses on the 1 chord. When you get to the 4 chord, no sus4 on there because it takes you out of the key. So again, these are everything that's available within the standard diatonic system. From the major variants, we move into the minor variants. And in between the treble and bass, we have these like alternate ways of thinking. So you'll see things like for the D minor 9, you'll see this F major 7 on top over the D. And that's because, again, whatever you can do to a 4 chord, if you can add a major 7, you can do it to a 4 over 2. Changes the chord name, you get a D minor 9 now. But it's this idea of, 4 over 2 is our minor 7. So you'll see that kind of straight down from the minor 7, F over D, the minor 9. You can see how all of these are just, let me see if I can mark this up real quick. So you got the F over D, and then you got the F major 7 over D, and then you get the F add 9 over D. So again, 4 over 2. Whatever you can do to a 4 chord, you can do to a 4 over 2. It's structurally based. It's the 4 structure over the 2. If it works on the 4, it'll work when it's over the 2. All right, moving from there, we go into, this is kind of, not so traditional. You get the major scale with my formula, the 1 WWH, the vertical break there to highlight the middle key, and then the 5 WWH. So they see the structure on both halves, on both sides is identical, highlighted by the middle key. In between, We have the chord scale kind of going up. So here's the one chord and then seeing it across. What's cool about this is once you get into other keys where you have black keys, they'll be represented by black cells with white letters. So you'll actually see the shape of the chord. So when you see a D major chord, that F sharp, it's going to be a black cell with a white key in it. The next one here, the primary chord scale builder, this is telling us what chord we're playing on top over the major scale, and then it creates the primary chord scale. So for example, here we have a C chord, that's a 1, over the E creates C over E, which is a 1 over 3. That's our number system. And again, those are the 7 most common chords right there, and then here are our 2 alternate roots. So we got an F chord over a G chord, that makes F over G, that's 4 over 5. Things like that. So sometimes I'll use these to kind of show movement. We could talk to a student. I'm like, oh, do you hear it? It's starting on the 1. Now it's going to the 4. Now it's going to the 6. Now it's going to the 5. So they can kind of see, kind of this this movement back and forth between. They can kind of just hear the numbers moving back and forth. From there, I have the number system essentials. This one should be rotated. For this one we have. It's the same kind of thing that we had before in standard notation, but here it's just the numbers and the letters. And so, again, when you go through here, the major variants, minor variants, it's showing you everything that's available. Anywhere there's a black X, again, sus4, no sus4 on the 4 chord, right? No major 7 on the 5 chord. Only the dominant 7 on the 5 chord. These are the available modifications and extensions that you can put. And then from there, we go to, this is more of just like a whiteboard if I need to jot anything down. And then from there, I just added a few of the custom staff paper, medium-sized staff paper. I have these in 3 sizes, but this is usually what I use with students. And then from there, you get the back cover. And this is the kind of the secret code, the 1362457. Grouped with the primary chords on top, and then here's our 2 alternate roots. So anyway, these are packets that I have. Could probably use a little bit more of a breakdown, but I didn't want to make this too long, especially for those who are already familiar with the system. So if you have any questions, let me know. But I'm gonna be giving this one away, so try it with your students. I'll have the rest of them ready soon, and I'll have some way for people to be able to get them. All right, everybody have a great day. Talk to you soon.